I just watched Tarantula by Ren and Chris Webby. I have a phobia of spiders, but I watched this because I love Ren and Chris Webby so much and you lot. Listen in colour. Hi everyone, welcome to Listen in Colour with me, Rachel Walker-Mason. I'm terrified of spiders, but here comes Ren and Chris Webby's Tarantula. Oh.
Tarantula, gang, right from the stereo. Gargantuan, goddamn fit for a burial. A cannula from my wrist, sick material. A chronically ill sound for your area. I just let go, there's a crack in my design. Like an echo, these thoughts replay in my mind. There's no safety, there's no rest, there's no sleep for the dead. And I hate these side effects that get left by the man. Oh, I got the devil on my shoulder.
Okay, apart from having to look at a tarantula, I am absolutely loving it so far. There's a real feel of like Sting and the Police to the rhythm of the music and the pitch of Ren's voice. And we know that Ren and Big Push cover Police really well. He's got that same pitch of voice as Sting. Their kind of quirky rhythms are very like Stuart Copeland. So that already sounds amazing. It's this bouncy little tune, even though they've got these horrifying tarantulas on screen. And the lyrics are really interesting, so I need to look at the lyrics to know why they're talking about tarantulas. But so far, loving it.
My shoulder, and the weight might break my back. I'm losing my composure, and I might crack. And so they say that my persona
has a tendency to
come so undone that,
and my identity is
stuck inside this white room I painted black. Tarantula.
Oh my gosh, I love it when Ren and Chris Webby come together. They have the most opposite voices within the same realm of the genre of music they do. So Ren's is kind of high and pingy and bright, and Chris Webby's is this kind of dark, slightly kind of like molasses kind of thing, which interestingly, what's running behind him as he's talking is this kind of black goo, and that's kind of a bit how his voice sounds to me. It's got that kind of edge to it. But colour-wise, with Ren, I always see this kind of like acidy green, like olivey green. And Chris Webby, I always see this orange, this really acid orange, colours that don't really go together, but they just work together. And Chris Webby coming in here in this section is just the perfect balance to Ren's section. Like, who would have thought of putting these two together? And I think they came together just through social media, and I love that it wasn't a record label that was like, you two should work together, this will be a hit. They just did it because they just get on and they understand each other. And there's so much in this song that speaks about both of their experiences, and that they're in this white room that they're gradually painting black. And I don't know whether that's significant at the moment, but it probably is because it's Ren and Chris Webby. It will mean something. So we'll have a look at that in a bit to see what they mean. Yep. Tarantula coming in.
One done that, and my identity is stuck inside this white room I painted black. Tarantula, bang bang, contractor muscular. I'm venomous, brain fangs right to your jugular. Cutting your brains on the rug and your blood on the comforter. Part of me's Peter Parker, but bust my guns like the Punisher. I'm a rabbit arachnid, I'm trapping them in the web. Then I wrap them up like a package for afterwards in the shed. I'm carnivorous in the blood of these rappers, is how I'm fed. To live a death like Dexter, dark as the passenger in my head. And they know I'm a killer on the low, patient 00. Fuck a cheat code, my ammo's unlimited. I only stop when I gotta reload. I'm 20 below and the blood in me frozen. I painted this room, only color I know. Yeah, I painted it black, it was dark as my soul. So fuck it, let's go. I got the devil on my shoulder, and the weight might break my back. I'm losing my composure, and I might crack. So they say they're my persona.
Has a tendency to
Come so undone that
and my identity is
stuck inside this white room I painted black.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love that chorus. The dun, da, da, bum, bum, da. Are they talking about a white room as in like a prison cell or like an asylum? And they often used to refer to them as like loony bins, and they were traditionally kind of a white like 4x4 room that was bright white, and you'd be in a padded cell and like in a straitjacket like this. And those rooms, whenever you see them on films and stuff, they always look this very bright white, which surely isn't very nice and comfortable. And so what they're doing is painting this room that's maybe their asylum black, which they say is the only color they know. Maybe if they're talking about being the tarantula, they're talking about making the room more of a like a den, a place where they can hide, like tarantulas do hide. That their like natural habitat is like under stones and in kind of wet, dark things. I try not to learn too much about tarantulas because they disgust me, but from what I know, that's their kind of natural habitat, somewhere dark and kind of cool. And so maybe Ren and Chris Webby are making the room from the place where they've dealt with their mental health to somewhere where they can kind of come out and attack. Maybe that's where they're going with it. Let's find out a bit more. Hey, everybody's in. Woo! It's a rave!
Whoa, back to back, you can't catch that flow. Counteract upon tracks that blow. Chiropractic, back snapping, fat bitch, gymnastic, mash it up, massive, bro. Casual, this shit easy, G. Ride the beat, come on, you know me. Designed to be the best, need the best to test me. Watch me rise up victoriously. Yeah, we back on that loose again. Representing that loony bin. Give a fuck if I lose or win. When that spider bite go right through the skin. Venom hit when I strike the vein.
Oh, yeah, mentioned the loony bin. That's really interesting. So I think what they mean in the lyrics is that they are like the tarantula. Maybe it's because, we know that Ren was bitten by a tick, and that's what caused his Lyme disease and all the whole plethora of issues that he's had when he was misdiagnosed. So the bite caused all these problems and sent him into so much like problems with medication and mental health. And I think Chris Webby struggled with his mental health as well, and that's why the two of them bond so well. So they're both talking about being in those situations, but perhaps that has caused them to be like, it's like they've been bitten by some poison, like these bad things happening to them, and now they've got venom in them like a tarantula. So what they can do is spit that poison out to other people, and that's like their lyrics, like their how fast they are, how spiteful they can be in lyrics if they want to be in a really clever way. So perhaps they're talking about their venom coming out rather than literally biting people like tarantulas do, that it's coming out in these very fast, aggressive lyrics. Perhaps that's their venom. And it's them kind of overcoming or like kind of weaponizing this power, which is technically a difficult thing that's happened. They're using it as a strength and using it to kind of power them on. And it's really interesting this section's a rave, because that's not where I thought this song would go at all. I thought they'd go into like a darker kind of going to attack people, because there's some lyrics about that's real like smack talk about the different rap kind of groups fire at each other, like that kind of yo mama kind of stuff, or like I'm going to come and kill you and I'm going to do this and that. They're probably not going to actually do it, but there's that kind of history of speaking like that to each other, and there's a lot of that in there which is quite venomous. So it's really interesting hearing them talk this way about their incredible ability. Speaking of it like it's venom is really clever, and now I understand why there are horrifying tarantulas in the video. It's not there just to taunt me, they're there for a reason. And I think there's something that Ren said about why he feels like quite connected to the essence of a tarantula because he's had similar things, and it's this beast that's kind of misunderstood, and it can hurt you, but it might not. As Ren and Chris Webby will tell you, working in the music industry is really not well paid. So if you would like to support me, you can do so by buying me a coffee or a tea, as I say, because I'm British and drink a lot of tea. The link is just here. You're under no obligation whatsoever to do this. But if you'd like to, I would really appreciate it. It helps me run this channel, support my family, and we are so grateful for everyone who already does this. So thank you.
I'm hit when I strike the vein. Got a monster locked up inside my brain. And wrestle with them's like fighting Bane, but I know that part of me likes the pain. Like a masochist, spider biting, antagonist, biting, sighting, paralysis, vital signs of a pathogen. Striking deep in the artery, Peter Parker, but dark as the black and bruise on the mark. I leave random web is the thread you see. Got time to kill, murder on my mind. I'll give your spine a chill. Show up in Silent Hill, bumping twisted metal behind the wheel. We pose a threat, pulling you under. Hope you can hold your breath and kill them all until there's no one left. Tarantula.
Horrifying tarantula on the screen. I won't look at it. There was a really interesting little play on words about the web and Chris Webby being the web. Like, nice. And there was some great Peter Parker references, which we know is Spider-Man. So it's like they're the mild-mannered alter ego of the tarantula as well as the tarantula. It's really clever, really clever. I mean, I expect nothing less from Ren and Chris Webby. They're very, very smart men who can just fire out lyrics like nobody's business. It's unbelievable. Like and you look at the lyrics, and there's so many, and every single word matters, and every single word is well thought of, and often has a couple of meanings. They are so clever. Like, students should study this as part of like GCSE English and things like it's so well written. It kind of stands up there with poetry written by kind of the old masters that we do study at school. This is the same level of quality, but completely different in its energy and outputs. Like, unbelievable. Well done, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I love it when you renegades comment, so keep the comments coming. Let me know what you think of Tarantula, and remember to have a colourful day. Listening